Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to dive right into the absolute foundational component of modern industrial temperature measurement, the Resistor Temperature Detector, widely known as the RTD. If you've ever wondered how heavy industries manage to achieve incredibly laser-like precision when monitoring critical temperatures, well, you're in the right place. We're going to unpack exactly how these devices work, layer by layer. We've got a really cool, logical journey ahead of us today. We're going to cover what an RTD actually is, the science of resistance, the physical anatomy of these sensors, the evolution of their wiring, and finally, we'll put the RTD head-to-head against the thermocouple. All right, part one, what is an RTD? The baseline solution for accuracy. Let's start with the absolute basics to understand the fundamental industrial problem of inaccurate temperature readings and exactly how we solve it. So the crucial point here is that an RTD relies on a super simple core physical principle. As a metal gets hotter, its electrical resistance actually increases. Measuring heat directly, that's incredibly tough to do with high precision, but measuring electrical resistance, we can do that all day. The sensor literally translates heat into a measurable, highly accurate electrical language. Moving on to part two, the science of resistance, or how heat alters metal. Let's zoom way down to the atomic level and see exactly how this physical relationship works in practice. Now, if you look at the stark contrast here, nickel and copper, they curve pretty dramatically as they heat up, but platinum, it gives us this beautifully linear, almost perfectly straight line relationship. This right here, this is the secret sauce of the RTD. Because that line is so straight, an increase in temperature means a highly accurate, totally predictable increase in resistance. It's just brilliantly reliable. And because platinum is just so predictably accurate, the industry went ahead and standardized it. This gave us those super popular designations you might have run into, the PT100 and the PT1000. And those aren't just random numbers. They represent exactly 100 ohms and 1,000 ohms of resistance, precisely at 0 degrees Celsius. Having this kind of universal baseline means you can just swap out sensors from different manufacturers and completely maintain your system's integrity. Okay, part three, anatomy of an RTD, deconstructing the hardware. Let's look at how we actually capture that predictable platinum behavior and build a physical sensor, layer by layer. If we peel back the outer layers, you get to see the real heart of the device. Look at that delicate platinum sensing coil, neatly tucked away inside a protective glass or Pyrex tube. To give you a sense of scale, this platinum wire is often way thinner than a human hair. You'll also spot the mica formers keeping everything stable, along with those internal compensating leads. It's honestly a lot like the filament of an old-school light bulb, highly engineered, remarkably delicate, and totally isolated from any outside contamination. But hey, you obviously can't just drop a fragile little glass tube into a high-pressure chemical vat, right? So out in the real world, these delicate coils are heavily armored. They're locked inside thick stainless steel sheaths, packed tight with tough insulation materials, and fitted with heavy-duty industrial lead wires. All that armor lets them survive absolutely brutal environments while still protecting that microscopic platinum heart inside. And because they're armored so effectively, you're going to find these sensors acting as the true temperature monitoring workhorses across heavy industry. I mean, they're constantly out there measuring critical heat levels in power plants, keeping tabs on volatile reactions in chemical industries, managing massive commercial HVAC setups, and keeping a watchful eye on electrical substations to prevent, well, catastrophic failures. Which brings us to part four, the wiring evolution, solving lead wire resistance. Now, what's really interesting here is the totally new problem all this hardware creates. When you armor a sensor and add super long wires to reach a control room, you actually introduce the resistance of the lead wires themselves. So that raises a pretty fascinating question for this explainer. Why do we see RTDs with 2, 3, or 4 wires? And what actual impact does that wire count have on the data you're seeing? While the number of wires definitely isn't just arbitrary, it's literally an evolution of accuracy. Progressing from a simple 2-wire setup up to a 3-wire and finally landing on a 4-wire setup represents this amazing engineering journey. We're going from a fundamentally flawed measurement right up to an ultimate high-precision champion. Let's break down exactly how this happens. Let's kick things off with a basic 2-wire setup. It's incredibly simple, which makes it really cheap, but mathematically, it's kind of flawed for high-accuracy jobs. Take a look at the total measured resistance equation at the bottom. The device at the end of the line accidentally adds the electrical resistance of lead 1 and lead 2 right onto the actual resistance of the RTD sensor. The system basically can't tell the difference between heat changing the platinum's resistance and just the natural resistance of a long copper wire. This makes an inherent error right into your data, so the two-wire is really only good where high accuracy just isn't critical. To fix that really frustrating error, industries cleverly evolved to the three-wire RTD. And actually, this is the most common setup you'll spot in factories today. By adding that third wire, engineers get to use what's called a Wheatstone bridge equation. Because the lead wires are identical, the bridge perfectly balances out and completely compensates for that extra lead wire resistance. It mathematically subtracts the wire's interference, handing you a remarkably clean reading of just the sensor itself. Pretty neat, right? But for absolute perfection, like in metrology labs and extreme precision systems, the four-wire setup is the undisputed champion. It uses this brilliant technique called Kelvin sensing. The outer two wires provide a constant current, while the inner two wires measure the voltage. And because the high-impedance voltmeter draws virtually zero current through those inner measurement leads, there is absolutely zero voltage drop along them. The lead resistance error isn't just, mathematically compensated for, it is completely, physically eliminated.
Finally, Part 5, RTD versus thermocouple, picking the right tool.
To wrap up this explainer, let's step back for a second and compare our high-precision champion against its famously common industrial rival, the thermocouple. I mean, if the RTD is so amazing, why don't we just use it for absolutely everything? Well, this matrix perfectly illustrates the engineering trade-offs. Sure, RTDs easily win on high accuracy, superior stability, and awesome repeatability. But check out those other columns. They are way more expensive. Because of all that protective mass, they actually have a slower response time to sudden temperature spikes. And importantly, they operate in a more moderate temperature range, about -200 to 600 degrees Celsius. Contrast that with a thermocouple, which is incredibly fast, super cheap, and can handle insanely high melting point temperatures. On top of that, an RTD needs an external power source just to push that current through the wires, whereas a thermocouple actually generates its own tiny voltage. Because RTDs demand more infrastructure and just cost more upfront, you really only deploy them when you absolutely need that rock-solid linear platinum accuracy over raw speed or extreme heat survival. It really is a balancing act between precision and budget. So I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder as you look at your own facility's demands. Do you actually need the raw, unyielding perfection of a four-wire RTD for absolute certainty? Or is the clever, cost-effective compromise of a three-wire setup exactly what your next critical project truly requires? Understanding these nuances is really the key to mastering industrial measurement. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring the science that runs our world.